Hello, everybody. Last week was a interesting week. We talked about Memorial Day, and hopefully you went to the Memorial Day ceremony we had at the Heritage Center on the 25th yesterday. Maybe you're seeing this on Tuesday the 26th. I know one thing that's going to happen on the 26th. We're getting ready to start the budget season.
Yes, sir.
And the man to my right, Mr. Chestnut, our town manager, he's been knee deep, waist deep. You know how you go out in the middle of a stream with waders on, and he's been waist deep in budget for probably 3 or 4 or 5 months now. He lives with it all day long, every
Yes,
day. How much we got, how much can I spend? So I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Chestnut and let him do a lot of talking. But I will say this before I let him have it. I've been in government here 46 years, which means that I have been through 45 budgets. Uh, Not putting them together. I have nothing to do with it. I voted on 45 budgets, voted against 4 of them, and I don't want to get into a long story about why, but I voted against 4 of the budgets. Uh, all a budget is I make $90,000 a year. I cannot spend 90,000 in one penny. That's all it is. It's a simple math, and believe me, I'm not the math guy, but I am a simple person. You get X number of dollars in, you can only spend X number of dollars, or this seat gets vacant, his seat's vacant, you can come visit us in Central Prison in Raleigh.
That's right.
We go to jail. So, Mr. Chestnut, help me stay out of jail. How do we do this?
So, Mr. Mayor and all of our listeners out there, every year by July the 1st, all of our local and state governments are supposed to pass and adopt balanced budgets for the next 12 months.
Keywords balanced.
Balanced, right? Because as a local government who's responsible for providing services to our citizens, we should manage our finances accordingly. Been in local government 6 years. I've passed, with my board. My separate boards have passed balanced budgets every year, and this is a process where it seems so complex for citizens to understand, right? Because they get to see us work on the budgets, but they don't really have a way to talk directly to the commissioners during our budget workshops about things that they see and hear. So my message today is step back from what you do on a daily basis and think about your community and what your local community, such as Fairmont, provides for their citizens. And think about ways where the money could be used in a different way or more money should be applied to certain items of interest for our citizens.
Right.
Now, for our local government budget here in the town of Fairmont, we discuss every department that's in the town of Fairmont, whether it's administration, finance, public works, fire, police, parks and rec. You know, we talk about the expenditures over the last 12 to 24 months, and we talk about um, expenditures and revenue for the next 12 months. And we use that to create a basic budget on how we operate over the next 12 months. Now, there have been citizens, there are always citizens who wants more from their local government. And that's where the conversation begins between the staff and our elected official. We don't really have those conversations with our citizens, but citizens are able to have those conversations with the mayor and with our other commissioners. For example, if you wanted to see more sports offered through our Parks and Rec program, you just reach out to your commissioner and says, hey, Town of Fairmont only does baseball and t-ball. We have an interest for soccer or kickball or dodgeball. Could you talk to the staff about what it looks like to fund those activities for our citizens over the next 12 months? Then our board of commissioners and or the mayor comes back to the staff and says, hey, the citizens have an appetite for more money for parks and rec, more money for downtown development, more money for code enforcement, or we want the town to build buildings for housing or build building for businesses. Those are conversations that you as a citizen should have with the Board of Commissioners, and then let the Board of Commissioners and staff work out. I love the budgeting season. I'm a numbers guy. Uh, and it's funny when people come up to our board meetings and try to do the math for us. Um, but our citizens will also get the opportunity during the board and the budget workshops to see how we come up with what we charge for water and sewer, what we charge for garbage, what we charge for inspections and zoning permits. And if you hear something that you would want to change, again, you can go back to your board of commissioners and your mayor and talk about those things. But the goal is, Mr. Mayor, is for the board of commissioners to manage the revenue for the town coming in and manage it effectively to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse, to prevent duplicate services and that sort of thing. So it seems pretty dry on the outside, but getting involved in the budget and having conversations about what the future of Fairmont looks like. I think this is the first budget since I've been here where we will talk more about what the future of the staff, our facilities, and development going forward looks like up until 2030.
So we're getting ready to do some things that we've not done in past budgets. We're getting ready to break ground and to build a new town hall.
Yes, sir.
We've never done that before.
Correct.
This building that we're sitting in right now has been here since the 1929.
Yes, sir.
3 more years, it'll be here 100 years.
Yes,
we're
sir.
getting ready to build a new town hall.
Yes, sir.
We're cleaning out a canal that was here long before you and I were ever here. We've
Yes, sir.
inherited that headache.
Most definitely.
That's why you don't have any hair and I'm starting to lose mine.
That's right.
Because people are consistently upset and we can't control the weather. It rains, it floods homes, backs up water, backs up sewer, and we're working on that now.
Most definitely.
What I've seen in my 45 years of budget approval or not approval, my voting of a budget, what little bit I'm limited to understand, is that you can only do so much with how much money you have to do it with.
Most definitely.
And it would be nice if the government would give us more money. But basically, here we go. We've got an apartment complex that's going to be built in the next year or two.
Yes, sir.
Somebody's going to have to pay taxes
Yes,
and
sir.
live in those apartments.
Yes, sir.
Someone's going to have to pay taxes that owns that property.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have other housing. We're going to have population increases. Maybe if we have more money, we'll be able to do more things. That's a simplistic view, folks.
Most
See,
definitely.
I operate off of an A plus B equals C thing. Mr. Chestnut is more in A to the 1 to the 3,000th exponent minus B with C, D, and all that fancy math stuff. He's
Yeah.
into all that. I'm an A, B, C and guy. I got $10,000 to spend. I got $9,000 coming in. I'm gonna have to do something with $1,000.
Yes, sir.
I can't spend what I don't have.
That's right.
That's what he has to deal with and wrestle with.
And let's just take your two examples that you just mentioned and how it applies to the budget workshops and the budget season coming up. Let's take the new town hall construction, for example. The new town hall is being paid for with state grant funds.
Yes, $3.25 million.
Correct. So that will be built and that will be paid for by the state. What we don't have is what funds do we put towards the reuse of our current town hall facility.
Right.
That is a specific item that we're going to talk about because it talks about the vision of our Board of Commissioners, what our citizens would like to see with this building, and how we set aside money to protect the interests and the vision that we have and how to execute going forward to make that vision come to life. So whereas this building will sit empty after our new town hall comes along, this building will not generate revenue. So we have to set aside money to build a vision to execute how this building will be used in the future.
Right.
Take, for example, the other example you used about the sediment removal. The state of North Carolina, again, we're thankful, we're grateful, has given us $150,000 to clean out the sediment from the canal this budget year.
Right.
How do we maintain that going forward? How do we set aside money somewhere to make sure there's ongoing maintenance so we don't get stuck with what this town has been stuck with for the past 20 to 30 years?
Right.
You know, so how do
Because
we?
I don't think we could sell ourselves 10 years from now if we don't do something between now and
That's
10
right.
years.
That's right.
They're not going to, they say, well, why didn't you do some follow up after we gave you $100,000?
That's right. And you look at those examples and see that it's more complex than just having money to always pay out. You know, you got to find a way to sustain what you have and also how to build what you need for the future.
I'll give you a perfect example. I don't like to use personal examples, but I will here because mathematically it makes sense. I had two fine young men build me a deck on the back end of
Yes,
my
sir.
house in 2003. It cost me a few bucks. Every year since then, every year, in fact, it's going to be done in the next week, I have someone come with 3 gallons of Thompson's water seal
Yes, sir.
and seal that deck. Because I would be the looniest person in this room, there's not but 3 of us in here, in this room, if I spent, I'm just going to say, $6,000 on all that wood and did nothing to it, and termites ate it away.
That's right.
And I had to build another deck,
That's right.
making it $12,000 in a deck process. When I got a $6,000 deck, and for $124 a year, I can keep it there forever.
That's right. That's a return on investment.
That's the same thing that Mr. Chestnut deals with on a daily basis.
Yes, sir.
Mine's a simple thing, his is more complex.
Yeah, because we have to look at our personnel, what they're getting paid today, what their future looks like, when are they going to retire, what's the backup plan for paying their replacement, will they get paid the same? We have to look at our fire trucks, our police vehicles, our public works vehicle. Every vehicle has a lifespan.
Oh yeah.
At some point, vehicles run out of warranties, and you got to be able to pay for repairs and decide when those vehicles come off the road. You know, so it's complex. You know, we break it down simple for our citizens to try to understand, and we try to set aside time where during the budget workshop they can hear these key discussions happen in an open forum with transparency. So I always look forward to this season, even though it's complex, because it shows your citizens where every dime pretty much is being spent in the town of Fairmont.
I'd like to invite you to come down to our budget workshop, the 2nd and the 9th. You're welcome to come. You're not going to be able to participate, but you're welcome to come and sit and hear the interaction of board members. And then on the 16th, our town board meeting, we
Yes,
will
sir.
have a public hearing on the budget, at which time you may participate. You may ask questions. You may put in, I'd like this to be done. I think you should do this. This is not a good idea. You can do that. And then on the 30th, that's the big day. As we call it, crunch time.
Yeah.
A town, a city, municipality must have somewhere before midnight that night
Adopted the budget.
adopt the budget. If you don't, the local government commission sharpens their swords. They put them in their scabbards. They load up their station wagons and they come visit. And the next thing you know, Mr. Chestnut and I are having water and
Yeah.
bread
That's right. That's right.
in central prison.
And we don't want that.
I know at least one town in North Carolina that swore they didn't think they could be bullied and they weren't going to put in a budget until they were ready.
That's right.
And every one of those people were sent home.
That's right.
Local government commission came in and sent them all home right here in
That's right.
North Carolina.
That's right.
I'm not going to mention the town, but they're scary people. They can make you have a bad day.
Yes, sir.
And I like to stay here for a few more years if I can.
Me too.
Thank you all for listening, and you're welcome to come to our budget workshops. If you got any ideas, pick up the phone. Phone works here. Honest to goodness, phone rings. My cell phone rings. Mr. Chestnut's does. and talk to us.
Yeah.
Talk to your board members. Tell them, lobby for what you want. Might win, you might lose. Thanks for listening, and we'd love to see you at our budget workshops. Bye bye.